Hello everyone, and welcome back to Bandai Product and Figure Review, your one-stop for everything models, figures, and tools alike. And I have a big shout out, and that is we have reached 400 subscribers on this channel. So a big shout out to all of you who are subscribing, watching, sharing, and leaving comments down below. You guys are what's making this channel grow, and I can't wait to see what we can do when we get 500 and up to 1,000 subscribers as some of those milestone goals. So if you guys have any suggestions for us reaching 500, please leave those comments down below on what type of special that we will do for that 500 subscriber achievement. Getting into today's video, we are going to be looking at more Gundam Universe Gundam Wing figures, and these are some of the newer ones that have recently came out and have been updated for a lot of their articulation. So let's roll opening and take a look at these Gundam Universe action figures. Starting off, we're going to be looking at number 40 of the Gundam Universe action figure line, Gundam Wing Zero, as well as number 41, Gundam Epyon. And like I was saying, these are going to have a lot new articulation. As we can see on the back of the box, it does allow us a lot more range of posability and articulation to do a lot more dynamic poses. So as we can see, there is a lot with the hips and different articulation features. So let's actually bring these bad boys over to the work table, open them up, and take a look at what was all improved. And here we have the Gundam Wing Zero and Gundam Epyon. And as we can see, these are actually fairly good sized boxes compared to some of the other ones that we have been featured on this channel. So with good old fashion, we'll actually start off with the more iconic one, which is the Gundam Wing Zero. And to help us out with articulation comparison, we have our already Gundam Wing from the original series, so we're going to be using him as our example. So he is actually number 2 in the entire line. So from number 40 to from 2 to 40, let's see what they actually all did for the changes. But looking at the box, we have mostly just a nice little range of motion. And starting off, we're immediately greeted with a lovely spread with his shields, beam sabers, an assortment of hands, the piece for us to apply him onto a stand, and various other things, especially with the wings on the back. So let's pop all this off, and we also have our nice little beam blasters. Before we actually assemble everything, I just kind of want to go over and just take a look at all of the different types of weapons and features that we actually have here. Starting off with the iconic beam rifle. This is a really nice molded, and it doesn't look like there's a lot of flash marks, and it looks like it's well painted. The cool thing about this, if I remember right, if I was reading this correctly, this actually does split apart. So now we actually have 2 of the beam rifles. So each one can hold, each one of his hands can hold one of them or put together. So this was actually one of the cool things that I actually hope to see more of, is the more show accurate and articulation for their weapons. Coming down to the shield is actually really nicely done. It has the nice little gold for the cockpit version, and it does look like it has a nice little ball joint that is just going to go ever so nicely right onto the arm. There is a lot of detailed lines on here, so it gives this a lot of play for panel lining if you choose to want to do all the panel lining on these particular ones. There is still quite a bit that could be touched up, especially the blasters on the side could be probably painted and kind of separated a little bit more, but overall this looks really nice for its shield. Next is its backpack, and as I was already kind of fiddling with this, I noticed that some of these pieces actually do come off fairly easily, and I was wondering, oh wow, that doesn't seem right, because some of these just like popped off just like that. But that's where the hidden truth of this comes in, where this was actually deliberate. This is to actually come off and be opened up, so we can actually open these guys up and imitate the flight mode. And this can actually rotate, so we can actually rotate like that, and it allows us to have it kind of in our flight mode. Well, I feel like I got these were kind of reversed or got flipped upside down in some capacity, because usually that should have gone on the back. But as you can see, that's how this actually would go, and opens up, giving us the really cool bird mode. So let's all put this together and see how well all the actual articulation is. And there we have him fully completed. And yeah, that didn't take very long to get all of the pieces on here. So getting into the full articulation, so we do have our backpack that does have a nice little hinge and can rotate ever so nicely. So we might be able to actually rotate these in the orientation that we would want when we actually do our flight mode. And they do pop off fairly easy, but with the fact that they are supposed to technically come off, do be prepared for that. But overall, it's on a nice hinge, and they do hold fairly nice. Starting off with the head, it actually seems very stiff compared to like the earlier ones that we can see right here, where the head tends to wobble a lot more. Well, this is a lot more firm, so that's really nice. Articulation back and forth is really nice and solid. The forward arms is actually pretty good. It's on a standard joint, but it looks like you can still do like a whole 360, but it is a lot more sturdy compared to this one, which I would say is comparable. Getting more into the range for the arms, we have a nice forward and back, and we have a nice little armor gimmick here that can actually flow with us. And articulation for the front, it does actually a really nice job. And yeah, we can actually see that it can actually move fairly good. And this is the one thing that was different, is we do have a articulation point going forward, so we can get a lot more forward motion of the arms, as we can see here, which will be very, very helpful when we are doing our big blaster scene. And it's the same with the other side of the arm. So again, it can rotate right here. The hand is on a little ball pivot, so it can have a full 360. Chest wise, it does look like it does have a much better chest for front and back compared to the original right here, where it is practically non-existent for the range. But it does have still fairly good turning range, but not by much. But for the Wing Zero, its range actually is pretty much a full almost a full 180 or 360, since there's not a lot of armor that is getting in the way of that joint. And speaking of armor, it looks like this is also a nice little feature where there are nice armor separation. And this is actually where the nice part is, where we have these two pieces that are actually separate. We do have that, but it doesn't look like it goes very far compared to this, where it goes out much farther without having to really move the legs upwards. And now we can actually move on to the legs, and that's where we have very, very good articulation right here. It does a very good job with the different ranges, with how the knee and ankles are, as we can see here. And the amount of detail that I'm actually seeing on here is actually quite phenomenal for the attention of detail. So I am really happy with how well they improved the quality of these action figures. And then even on the bottom, we have a little jet nozzle right here at the bottom of the feet. So that actually works really well, and it has very good amount of detail. Now we can actually move on to the portion here where we can actually put the two beam rifles together, and just like that, I ended up dislocating its shoulder. So we can actually bring that in just like that. It'd be easier just to put the two together real quick, and then slide his hands into it, and we can actually recreate the box cover with the blaster all together. So that's really, really nice. I did really like that feature that allows us to really get this nicely articulated. And yeah, that it holds really, really well. And it does actually come with a little stud where we can actually put this on a stand. Now we have the Epyon, and it's going to be basically the same thing. It's going to show us really nice range of motion, kinetic style, and durable construction. So let's already open this up and kind of take a look. And starting off, we are greeted with a lovely packaging for the Epyon, which is in a really nice packaging, and some of the parts are coming off already. So this is already looking really nice. We have its iconic blade, its tail right here, and it looks like it actually just snaps into place just like so, or I'll try that in a little bit. We have a nice blade beam right here. We have its iconic shield, if I can get it out. Another part for a couple of its blades. And we have an assortment of hands. We have the unit itself. We'll just set it right there. We can pop the hands out and just set them right there. And we have his wings right here. Bad boy right up. Apologies for that technical difficulties. It looks like there's actually been some damage on this, where one of the wings actually has just, the peg itself has just come completely off. Like, it is just completely worn. This might just be a one-off, so this is just something to be aware of, especially with these action toys. Sometimes they get broken in transit. I will try to see if I can find another one and do another comparison video to see if this was just a one-off for just poor manufacturing. Overall, it's looking good. It's just a lot of the joints on here aren't really that good. I'm seeing a lot of aftermarket marks on here, as you can see here. I did not see a lot of those on the Gundam Wing Zero when I got that, but I got that one at an official Gundam event. I got this at one of my local hobby shops, so But overall, the articulation is looking good. It's nice and smooth. But it does look like there's quite a bit of flash on here. Some of the detail on here does seem a little bit rough and not polished. It looks like the backpack just goes like right on here, snaps right into there. So now we have our Epyon wings on here, and the articulation wise, it's pretty good. It holds really well, so you can do some really nice, cool action poses. It's nicely double jointed, just like the other one, and then we can possibly take off some of the armor pieces to allow us to have that better range, or we can try to put this one armor piece back on. But it looks like some of these joints should hold a little bit more, because that just comes right off. It doesn't seem really that sturdy, actually. So I may end up having this be a separate video just because of technical difficulties with this particular figure. But articulation, it does give us the articulation range that we want, so it's really nice with that. It does rotate really nicely. The ankles move really nicely. The chest rotates fairly good. Nice forward and back. And it actually stands relatively good without any assistance. And the wings, for the one that actually is good, it does have a nice up and down range where it is, looks like it is on a peg hole. And I'm trying to figure out what exactly happened. I might be able to disassemble this, make a new peg, and pop this back on. So that's the lovely thing about being a plastic modeler, is when you come across some of these kinds of things, it's like, ah, that sucks, I'm going to throw this away, I don't know how to fix this kind of stuff. So be prepared for a fix-it video where I'm going to actually probably go in and refix it, because this seems like it's going to be a really easy and simple fix to actually do, since a lot of this is just simply just finding a new little peg hole, popping this off, super gluing that peg into place, and sliding this back on and closing this back up. So the big challenge would be the disassembly process. Once we do that, it's going to be a really fun kit or action figure to be put back on here, and it will give us our articulation back, where we have a lot more play other than it just barely holding on, which really, it does actually hold really well, all considering. But yeah, it's looking really weird with how the quality of this was compared to the other one. I do have another Gundam Universe with this particular new articulation, so I'm definitely going to be doing that one, and that's on the Gundam Unicorn. And I do have a side-by-side with that. I don't have anything for the Epyon, so this is going to be a kind of a standalone. But moving on to its shield, it's really good. It's just on a nice little ball joint where we can just attach that right into there. And we do have its nice little whip saber blade here. So this actually is all nicely articulated for most of the parts here that are articulated to a degree. I wish it was all articulated, and that would have been really, really cool to give us a really nice effect. But it looks like it's articulated at the tip, a section here, and another midsection, and there. So we do have some good range that we can do. That actually goes right in there. So there we go. So that's actually looking pretty cool, but that adds some weight a little bit. So be prepared for it to maybe snag, but it looks like it's holding pretty good, all considering. So it's already looking really nice, and we do have a nice little action blade here, and we do have one that is activated and deactivated, and we have an assortment of lovely little hands to hold these all together. Alright everyone, that's going to conclude this unboxing of the new Gundam Universe action figure lines, Gundam Wing Zero and Epyon. So I am more impressed with the Gundam Zero. Its armor was really nice, it was very playable, and it has a lot of really cool features that will make displaying this really, really fun. The Epyon, on the other hand, I'm a little disappointed with actually the Epyon. It could be just this was a one-off, just because there was thousands of these being made and shipped around the world and all that blah blah blah. Chances are you could end up with a lemon. So I may end up with a lemon here, where it's not the first time I had one that wasn't like, is this correct? But with some of the armor pieces, I don't understand why they popped off so easily. Not a lot of these actually had a lot of like easy to pop off armor pieces that would just felt like it was just falling apart. But some of the weapons, as we can see, the weapons look okay. The shield whip actually does really good with holding and being able to be articulated. So the only one that I would probably actually recommend getting as of right now, until I get another one of these Epyons, to see if what I'm looking at is actually correct. So I'm definitely going to try to order another one of these, just because I am so curious about the quality. So I did, like I said, I got this at a game shop, so I'm not quite sure where they got it from, because I know I got this one from the Gundam base when you saw in that video. So I know this one's fully 100% legit. This one, on the other hand, it's kind of questionable. Again, some of the quality does feel really poor. Again, it could just be where it's just poor manufacturing, where it's just rushed out. So, but I don't see a lot of those really bad marks on the new one compared to the Epyon here. So definitely look forward to that video once I get another Epyon and do a side-by-side to see what really is the matter, because you literally saw me open this straight out of the box, pulling out of the plastic, and it's broken. That can be very disheartening, especially that this thing is about $30, which isn't too bad. If I paid for like a $150 figure and find out that half of it, like a good section, is broken, I would be royally peeved. But this is only about like $30-ish. They're toys, so that's the one thing I'm only where it's like, I'd rather not have it be broken, but it comes with the territory with some of these toys that we have. But yeah, this is still for Bandai. This is kind of, it's like, you might want to take a look at your quality insurance here, because that's just dismal. I'm like, it looks nice, it holds really well, but when you come across broken pieces right away, it's like, what is it setting an example? And again, this is only my opinion. I only have one of these, so I've started kind of looking at other people's reviews on this to see if I'm having the same issues. So far, mine might be a one-off. So again, I'm going to do a whole thing with another one of these once I get them ordered. So definitely look forward to that. But overall, I definitely recommend the Wing Zero. That's just going to go really well, and it's lovely with its customization. The Epyon, wait until my comparison video, and then I will see where I stand. And with that, please like and subscribe. You guys are what's making this channel grow, and I hope you like this type of content as much as I do, since I keep building more and collecting more of these lovely action figures and model kits. And if you have future suggestions or ones that you want to be featured or have questions about, please leave those down in the comment section down below. I also have a Discord, so you'll be able to find this video there as well. So with that, please stay building, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.